it's not one thing or two things. Like, I understand the referees aren't perfect. I understand that in the chaos of a game, like something gets missed, things get overlooked. Maybe you get the call when you're at home a little better. Maybe certain stars get calls. I understand all that happens. But it was like watching it, it was the first time in my life where I felt like we were watching it. It was so clear that there was a disparity in what was being done. And I think that's why it became so controversial, because they didn't hide it well. Whereas if they have done this before, they hid it so well we didn't even notice. But this, it was like, it really stood out to everyone.
It was blatant. I was like, how the hell are you guys not seeing these calls? Like, this is a clear-cut foul. This guy clearly traveled. But it was just overlooked. And believe it or not, guys, as bad as Game 4 was, that wasn't even the worst officiated game.
Oh, no. That's not even the game that I think about the most, really.
Yeah. Now, let's go to Game 5. Sacramento won that game. Mike Bibby hit a clutch jumper. I was hyped.
Off a pick and roll?
Yeah, off the pick and roll, yeah. But after the game, Phil Jackson complained to the media about foul calling, stating that they wouldn't get nowhere near enough fouls. And
I remember that.
Shaq came out and was saying that, he's not going to change his game to be like them. That epic quote. And then comes the biggest screw job in NBA history. Now, before I get into it, Adam, let's circle back around to David Stern telling everyone that as long as they are spelling the name right of the NBA correctly and talking about it, it's good for business. Now, what other way can you do so for the people to talk about the series is to extend it 7 games?
Oh, sure. Drama. Human drama.
So, we get to the epic Game 6. The biggest screw job I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know. Divock and Pollard fouled trouble. Actually, they fouled out that game. Chris Rebel was in foul trouble.
Yep.
Doug Christie was in foul trouble. I think one of Chris Rebel picked up his 5th foul off of Robert Horry, one of the worst flops, blatant flop by Horry. 5th foul on Chris Webber. Divock fouled out the game. He literally touched Shaq with his pinky on a shot.
That's one of the things they love to freeze. And I'm like, once again, it's like, yeah, if this was one thing, no one would point it out. But it was like repetitively done. So we noticed these things a lot more.
Another interesting nugget. That game, Shaq went 13 of 17 from the free throw line. 13 of 17 for Shaquille O'Neal. This is not Robert Horry we're talking about. Shaquille O'Neal hit 13 of 17 free throws. How, might you ask? He stepped over the line every single time.
Oh, yeah. I've also seen the montages of that, where it's like they show all his free throws for the game, and he's like 3 feet in the paint when he releases it.
Did not call it not once. Literally let him step over the line and hit free throws all night long. I'm surprised Rick didn't complain about it. Or maybe you're just in the heat of the moment and not paying any attention. But after, that 17th free throw attempt, Bibby was bringing the ball up the court, passes it to Thunderbird. Shaq clotheslined him.
Hard, yeah.
No flagrant foul. Shooting foul. Then that was key because Thunderbird went up and hit the free throws and made it 94-93. But if they would have called that clear flagrant, they would have had the ball back. I think it was 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Next possession, Kobe goes around a Doug Christie pick. Christie goes straight up. C-Webb comes over the blocked shot. Foul call on C-Webb. Another crazy blow. Then you have, at that point, they zoomed in on Mike Bibby and Hito Turkoglu. They just dropped their shoulders.
They're in disbelief. I remember, it's like the look on their face, they're just like, it's like they know something is up. They're like, what's happening? And then the other one looks at each other, they look at each other and they're like, we can't, what can we do?
Yeah, like, well, it's that's it. Like, what can we do right now? Like, we're getting screwed. It's like they almost knew, like, something's not right here. This is unbelievable. What were you thinking when we was watching Game 6? Do you remember most of that stuff?
Yeah. I remember seeing that they could tell and it like really being striking to me because it was the first time I've ever watched an NBA game where players are essentially looking at each other like something's going on.
Yeah, something's not right.
Something's happening and we can't we have to be so careful because this is not going to be called evenly. And you hear people say that, especially in like amateur sports all the time. But it was the first time in professional sports where I saw people actually acknowledge it, like, oh, this isn't an even playing field for us.
Yeah, and you saw, I think Divox in the back. Scott Pollard was on the sideline talking about the refs. Like, they had zoomed in, and he was just, like, shaking his head like, I don't know what the hell is going on. It's Ed Malloy.
Yeah.
They knew they was getting screwed. The next big blown call, guys, Lakers were inbounding the ball up by 1. Kobe elbows Bibby in the face. They call a foul on Mike Bibby.
I feel like that's one of the most like memorable parts is seeing him. I think he was bleeding from the nose or the face or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, his nose busted.
I just remember seeing him bleeding.
And Bibby for a second looked concussed. So he went to the sideline to seek some help. Dick Bavetta came rushing over to Sacramento to tell them to either take a TO or hurry up back in the game. So they pretty much just stuck some tissue back in Bibby's nose, put him back on the court. Bibby had a chance to tie the game, but he missed it. He didn't even look like he knew where he was at. And of course, the Lakers went on and won that game as well as the series. Now later, all of our intuition came to light as Tim Donaghy was arrested and came out and said that was one of the games that was fixed. And he admitted to all kinds of scandals facing jail, but I think they dropped the sentence 98% because the FBI deemed what he was saying was facts.
Yeah, credible.
Yeah.
People always want to discredit him because they're like, oh, you're going to take the word of a convicted felon. But they actually shortened his sentence for like spilling his guts about everything.
Yeah, he said it.
And so, obviously, if he's saying, I did it, and I didn't even know the thing about him going to school with all those guys, but like, he's essentially saying it's a culture of influence. He's not necessarily saying like referees are made to like fix a game or make sure that one team wins or another, but he made it out like the good ones are just good at manipulating it through skewing it one way or another.
It was bad. And then David Stern, when they asked him about it, he pretty much called Donaghy a singing witness. In other words, a snitch.
I've always thought David Stern acts like mob rules mentality. He does. Like, that's how he acts, man. Like, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
It is the timing of it, I think, is what upset David Stern the most, because the Donaghy allegations came out during the NBA Finals of who else? Celtics Lakers.
Yep.
Lakers involved again, and then the scandal drops out about the Lakers and Kings. And Donaghy admitted that, David Stern basically in the league wanted to extend the game to 7-game series. He also admitted to referees overlooking plays that led to injuries, aka Mike Bibby, intentionally making up fouls so players would foul out the game, like Divox, Scott Pollard, C. Webb, and Doug Christie. And they also made damn sure the Lakers had more free throw attempts. The Lakers attempted 40 free throws to Sacramento 27, I'm sorry. No, 25. Because 27 free throws were attempted by the Lakers in the fourth quarter of their Game 6.
That's the game that I always remember is Game 6.
Oh, that's just... I think, and then he spilled the beans on some other stuff, like how the NBA executives would sort out referees to fix games. They were told to withhold technical fouls on superstars. Mm-hmm. Refs were allowed to use practice facilities of teams and stuff like that. So it's just, I guess money talks. But at the end of the day, it's all about what is best for business. And just like the NBA and other leagues, some people are going to wind up getting screwed like the Sacramento teams in order to have what's best for business.
Sure.
Guys, but I'm going to see if Ditti is available. If not, I'm going to have a separate interview with Mike Venditti. Let me see if he's available. In the meantime, I'm going to play this promo from my boy Ben from the BS3 podcast that you can catch on Spreaker. And we'll be right back with you.
Lay down music.
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
All right, so we're going to have a separate interview with Mike Venditti that I'm going to include on a part 2 of this podcast, because Ditti, ironically, was, I believe, living in Sacramento at that time, and he also had an opportunity to talk with Donahue as well. So that's going to be some interesting stuff. I definitely want to have him on. Let me see if I can reach back out to him, because I think he's integral. Let's see. He's actually a little busy. Said he was going to call me back. See if I can wait on him. But in the meantime, Adam, after all the stuff that you know, you know what? You said before the podcast that you was discussing with some guys about the gambling aspect. Let us know about that.
Okay, yeah. So I went to school with a guy who is heavy into sports gambling, and a lot of his friends are also into it. And the first time I went over there, it was a completely foreign world to me. I went over to their apartment. They had 3 TVs set up with sports on. Each one had a laptop, and each one had a cell phone with gambling apps. And they were gambling on every aspect of the game. Not wins and losses, some covering the spread or not covering the spread, but a lot of things I didn't even know people gambled on. Like, back then Amari Stoudemire was on the Knicks, and I remember that they were gambling on over or under a certain percentage on his free throw percentage, and just minute details of the game. And so we were watching, I'm with them last weekend, and we're watching the Clemson game and the Auburn game on 2 different TVs, and they were basically explaining to me how much money exchanges. They were buying drinks for everybody, and they were we're up $800, we're up $1,200. And asking them, do you make money doing this? And they're like, not really, because next weekend we'll probably lose $1,200. Wow. Probably break about even in the year. And they just like it because it makes watching sports more enjoyable, more everything matters. And I started thinking about that, kind of knowing this show was coming up, thinking that gambling is $1 billion industry. The NBA is $1 billion industry. Both of them are going to be manipulated by the powers that be to yield the best profit. And so, obviously, the house always wins in gambling. And David Stern's going to make sure that he always gets essentially what he wants. So,
hey, Ditti.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? Give me 1 second. Let me finish this off with Adam, and I'm going to get you included in.
Very good. Hey, I'm actually leaving local Q right now and heading home. You want me to call you when I'm there so it's clear?
Oh, no, you're good. I can hear you pretty clear right now.
Okay, because I'm in the car, so I didn't know if it was too echoey.
Nah, you're good. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get you included, because we on live and we're in the middle of it.
All right.
Diddy,
because I have that fan point of view. I might remember things a little differently than truth.
Yeah, no, not a problem. Were you living in Sacramento during that time?
We had just moved here from Sacramento that year.
Okay.
We moved here in 2000, so it was right before that last couple of years of awesome.
Yeah. First, let us know what it was like to be in Sacramento during that time.
Yeah, for sure.